You've probably clicked this video because you're wondering why your business is going bad, why you're not getting any results, and you're confused as to why this is the case. Well, in this video, we're going to go through why this is happening and the value of going all in.
Yes, in this video, we're going to share the principle of going all in. We're going to look at it biblically. We're going to look at it how we've gone all in on our lives and how we've seen the fruits of going all in. And then finally, we're going to talk about how you can go all in on whatever you want to pursue, whether that's a business or whether that's, you know, especially your personal brand, which is what we think is massive.
Yeah, for sure. Let's get into it.
Yeah, let's do it. So a lot of people, they just don't go all in. What we've seen, and the reason why me and Blessing really had like a burden is because we're just seeing that people don't want to go all in. People want to kind of, and there's nothing wrong with this, with what I'm about to say, is that they want to have their job and they want to do the business, and that's completely fine. But what I say is this: when you have a B plan, it means you're always going to put 80% on the A plan and 20% on the B plan. But when you have an A plan and you go 100%, it means that A plan is going to give you the results that you're looking for. Now, I'm not saying if you have a job to just quit that job right now and go do the business. This means this is for people that maybe have a business and it's gotten to a point where you can actually see the fruits of it, and at that point, a lot of you are probably scared and you're thinking, no, is this really going to work? Is this really going to happen? But you have to go all in. You have to trust in God. And even if you don't believe in God, you just got to trust that you've seen some fruits of it. So it should continue and it should go well. Because if you don't take any risks, you're never going to prosper.
Yeah, there's a lot of value in going all in. Like the fact that you have a plan B shows that your plan A is not strong enough. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, yes, obviously it's good to have other things, like think of alternative ways. Like let's say your plan A doesn't work. Okay, obviously you can now apply wisdom and see what you can do based on that. But the plan was never to go after plan B. It's always to focus on the plan A to make sure that works. And it's like, if you're so fully focused on plan A, you will do everything in your power to ensure that plan A is executed. Literally. Yeah. And that's the thing that we see many people do wrong. It's like they are doing many different things. Like we see a lot of people.
Just two things, and have an A plan and have a B plan, and then now you have a job, and then now a big project comes, and all of a sudden
projects
you can't.
What?
Let's say you have a job, and all of a sudden your manager's telling you to come in for extra shifts, and your manager's telling you to come later, and things like that. All of a sudden you can't focus on that business anymore. Yeah. And can I also say something? If you have a job and you have a business on the side, that's not a business, that's a side hustle. Yeah. Until your side hustle becomes your main hustle, only then can you call it a business. Don't come to me and you've got a job and you're telling me you have a business. You don't. You have a side hustle. You don't have a business. And you're not a businessman or woman.
Literally. Or some would say you're just self-employed. But actually, hold on, you're not even self-employed because you don't even employ yourself. You're just working on the business. You're not working in the business. Yeah.
You just have a side hustle.
Yeah. So and there's nothing wrong with that. That's what was I doing that? That's what I was going to do essentially. But then I realized that, look, if I want to get to what I want to get to.
What? So you want to talk about how.
What?
You're going to talk about how
your
experience, because obviously they don't know.
Okay,
they don't
cool.
know. Yeah.
Okay, let me.
They don't know you. No one knows you. We don't know anything. So tell them from the top.
Okay, let me break it down. Okay, so essentially what happened was I was studying a master's in entrepreneurship at UCL. So on the side of that master's, I was also doing a skill called remote sales. I was closing deals, making a lot of money from that. And that was my side hustle because my main thing was my uni, right? So 9 to 5, I'd be in lectures, I'd be in the lecture hall, doing my assignments, etc., etc. And in the evenings, I would close deals and make money from that online. So I'd get home around 10, 11 p.m. and it'd be a repeat.
I remember those days.
Every day. I'd be getting home late.
I'll be calling her and I'm like, what, you're still at the office?
Yeah, he didn't like me.
Yeah, because obviously...
He's like, you're doing...
Obviously you're outside.
You supported it.
I've supported it, but you were outside. It's not
it's
not safe, you could be doing that at home, but obviously I think it's just easier, isn't it?
Yeah. So obviously, I was busy. I was really busy too, when at the time.
Yeah, at that time, you was really busy.
It was a lot. It was a lot, but the sacrifice was worth it. But yeah, so I carried on doing that.
You got your degree.
Yeah, I got my degree, graduated. Well, I haven't graduated yet, but I finished my dissertation. My graduation ceremony is this year, but I finished everything.
Masters, yeah.
In my masters, yes. And then I got...
Uni?
UCL, I already said.
Oh, you already said that?
Yeah.
Okay, it's just a glow a little.
Funny
Entrepreneurship
guy.
degree.
Yeah, no, it was a great, oh my gosh, fantastic degree.
Wow.
Fantastic
Talk about it a
uni.
little bit.
Oh, I don't want to go, okay, I won't
Just
go
a
off
quick
too
little
much on a
bit.
tangent.
Yeah, let's talk about that. I think it's interesting.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
okay, so it was
Because
really...
I didn't know that an entrepreneurship degree was like this.
Yeah. Okay, it was so practical. Like, our lecturers were actual business owners. Like, one of our lecturers, he'd exited from his company. I think the exit was like 1 billion, like crazy. And another one of our lecturers, he started like one of the first few, like these birthday cards. And
Like
these...
Moonpig.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he thought, not necessarily
No, I didn't say
Moonpig.
Moonpig, but like Moonpig.
Like
yeah.
Moonpig, so it was like the in-person physical one. So you
Yeah.
know those convenience stores that you'd go to, like your corner
remember you
shops.
told me that one, yeah.
Sometimes they would have like cards there that you can just buy. Like he was one of the first few companies to do that, and he sold it for like a couple million.
Wow.
So a lot of I like the fact that the lecturers were actual knowledgeable business owners and they had experience. They weren't just teaching based on
from
theory.
yeah.
I don't like that. So they were actually giving us practical tips and advice. So if you want to pursue and you want to go down the startup route, I would recommend that. Like it was so good for that. For me, I learned a lot, but it's not necessarily applicable in the field that I'm in, which is the online business space. Yeah, currently, who knows? It could definitely be, who knows? I might go down the VC space one day, but for now, it's not necessarily for me. But it's been such a great experience. Like we had guest speakers such as the CEO of Uber. Was it Uber or Bolt? Bolt.
Yeah.
The CEO of Bolt. He came in to speak to us. We had many different CEOs, like many different leaders of top companies. So that was really, really interesting. And I met some great people as well. Some really driven, ambitious young people. Okay, so back to the story. So essentially, yes, I finished my master's, which was great. And then I was now doing remote sales a bit more full on. Like I could now devote more time into remote sales. And that was going really well.
Something. You missed when you actually applied for your job.
Oh, yeah.
So you have
That's
to say
the main
that first
point.
for them to get the story.
Okay, so during my master's degree, I had in the back of my mind that, okay, cool. Yes, I'm doing remote sales and it's going well. However, I couldn't see the full effects of it because I was only doing a few hours every evening and I was making money, but obviously you're limited because sales is dependent on how much time you can put in and I couldn't put in that much time. So what I said was, okay, cool. My parents are on my back. I need to secure something just in case.
Yeah.
So I was going on a frantic application thing. I was applying for different companies. I think first I wanted to do consulting. So I applied for consulting roles. I wasn't getting anywhere. And then I started applying for sales roles. I was like, look, I already do sales. Let me just apply for sales roles. Like, it's transferable. Yeah. So that's when I started to see some real progress. And I just experienced so much ease. I was like, oh my gosh, like it was so easy for me. Yeah. The company that I managed to secure my graduate offer with, it was so easy. That process for me. And like, the amount of people that applied, I believe it was like 1,500 people that applied and only 10 people or something like that got in.
Wow.
And I was one of those 10 people.
Wow.
And it was just so easy for me. Wow. So that much ease came. And I thought to myself, look, if a company can see the light and see my potential and see that this girl is worth a lot and they want to grab me so quickly, it made me step back and say, you know what? There is something that I have here. There's something in my hands that I have here that I can use, I know that if I use this well and if I steer this well, I can maximize this a lot more. Yeah. And the impacts that I can make with this skill, if I was to apply it in my business, would be way more.
Yeah. And can I just add that it wasn't easy for you to come off that decision of your job. You was a big company, a multi-billion-dollar industry that if we name, we probably could name it, but we don't want to. Rather not. But multi-billion-dollar company, I think they're in like cosmetics or something like that.
It's not just household items.
Yeah,
so you probably have.
You 100% have it.
You have three, at least three of their items in your home right now. Especially if in the UK. No, even if you're in America, because they're big everywhere.
Yeah. Big global. This is a multinational.
They had headquarters in Nigeria, Jamaica, everywhere.
Oh, wow.
Everywhere. Australia, everywhere.
And they were offering her a starting salary of, what was it?
45K.
45,000 pounds as a
starting salary. Straight out
of the gate.
Yeah, right straight out of uni. Mm-hmm. So I was
and they were like, and another thing's like, even though that you've been business, if it was for a job, that was probably the best job you could ever go
100%.
For. Flexible, understand.
Do you know what? With that company, I really liked it because they were really.
Easy to let go of that.
It was not. It wasn't. I can't lie. It was a fantastic opportunity. Yeah. And if I didn't have anything serious going on, I would have just went, and he would have been like, nah, just go. But because, that's another thing. But yeah, in terms of letting go, like, it wasn't easy because there were so many benefits. And the reason why I really like that company is because they don't treat you like a number. Well, I'll get onto why I say that, but also I disagree with what I just said. So they don't treat you like a number because they really care about your career growth. Like, they do. I think they told me when I got through, they were like, yeah, we're going to invest like 200K or 150K in your first year of training with us. So we'll train you up. And like, when I spoke to a lot of the people that work in that company, they were like, yeah, we've been there working for 10 years, 20 years, 15 years. I was like, why? Why have you been here for that long? And they were like, yeah, because the company is so great. Like, if you don't like something, if you want to improve, if you want to move up to the next level, they'll support you, that you can elevate in the company, you can change roles, you can do different things. So apparently it was never boring. So I was like, oh, this is good. Like, do you know what? If I was to do a 9 to 5, I'd be here.
This is what they call golden handcuffs.
I was not trying to do that. Well, later on when I realized. But then, so I'm going to get onto why I say that they do treat me like a number, though, and why they would treat anyone else like a number.
Or so, do you want to go back to...
Yeah, I'm going to go back. As I said later, I'm going to get onto it. Yeah. So I'm going to go back to... So, yeah, it was difficult for me.
Finding out your value in remote sales. It was going well.
Yeah, so what happened was, with remote sales, I was closing deals, a lot more deals, and I started to share these things online. And a lot of women started to reach out to me and say, oh my gosh, Blessing, I love what you do. I really wanted to get into remote sales. Can you help me?
And that's when you started your education company.
Yes. So I started teaching. So I have a sales agency where I teach women on how to sell and make an income from it like I did. So Yeah, my mentor.
Anyway.
Yeah. So like I really started to leverage my personal brand here. So I was posting a lot of content because I was just sharing. I was like, you know what, let me just give value and share what I've been doing. Yeah. And to my surprise, I was shocked but not surprised actually, because I knew something like this would happen if I put in a lot of effort, but I didn't know it would happen that quickly. So people were really reaching out to me.
I wasn't shocked or surprised.
Yeah, so people were reaching out to me a lot. And then I said, you know what, like, let me put a lot of effort into this. I started really refining my training program, and then, my students were getting results. And literally a few months down the line, one of my students are now telling me, oh yeah, I'm thinking of quitting my job from the same thing that I taught them. Like, this is me that taught them, right? Yeah. Imagine if I now said I'm going to commit to that full-time job. Yeah. And actually, I was meant to start that full-time job, I think, in 2 days now. Wow. So if I didn't decline the offer, I would be starting in 2 days. And I would not be sitting here. No, because I'd be preparing for my job. I don't know what I'd be doing, but I wouldn't be doing this. Yeah. And I wouldn't have the story to tell you. Wow. It's because I went all into my business, went all into my sales career, went all into what the Lord had given me a vision about. And I actually stewarded that vision well. Then now I'm sitting here by the grace of God. And stewardship starts from the vision. Yeah. Stewardship doesn't necessarily start from your finances, because the Lord has seen how you can handle what he's given to you, the vision he's given to you. Are you going to waste that vision, or are you going to steward it well? And then based on that, the Lord is going to be able to trust you more and say, you know what, this woman has done well with what I've shown her. She's actually executed. She's actually done. Because it says in the Bible also, faith without works is dead. So you can believe, oh my gosh, God has shown me something. I've got a prophetic word about this. But if you don't actually execute, it's rubbish. You're not going to get any results.
And just going, and I think that's what you really said. And I think this verse I'm going to just share right now, perfectly what you just said there. What did you say? You said that if God gives you something, what did you say? You said if God gives you something, a vision, it's about stewardship. This verse, which I'm about to tell you, perfectly encompasses what Blessing was saying. It's in Ecclesiastes 11:6. Sow your seeds. Sow your seed. That's good. The reason why I say seed is because that's what God gives you. It's stewardship of your vision. The vision is a seed. So what happens is God gives you a seed. You see, everybody wants the fruit. But people want the fruit first. But what you don't understand, and when you pray and you say, I receive it, you're not you think you're receiving the fruit. Yeah. You think you're receiving the money. What God gives you is ideas. He gives you vision. He gives you skills. That's why in Habakkuk 2:2 it says, write the vision and make it plain. Because God is giving you the vision and you make it plain. Moses, God can, but God didn't want to come be the guy who wrote on the tablet. He wanted Moses to. So he told Moses, he said, you write it and make that thing plain. And now we all go on the road. Let me read a verse. Go on.
So I wanted to say something. Can you read the verse actually now?
Yeah. So Ecclesiastes 11:6 says, sow your seed in the morning, and at evening let your hands not be idle. For you do not know which will succeed, whether this or that, or whether both will do equally well.
Yeah. So sowing, in terms of sowing your seed as well, I love what you said about how when you receive the seed, you're not receiving a fruit. And that's so key because God is a God of process.
Yes.
When you look at a seed, you have to plant it, right? You now have to, you have to feed it. You have to give water to it.
Yeah.
And the planting is done in the darkness. You don't see the roots. You don't see the leaves. You don't see the fruits until years later or months later. So firstly, sometimes the process happens in the darkness and you may not be seeing results yet. But this is where a lot of Christians get it wrong. They don't stay at what they're doing for long enough to see the leaves, to see the fruits. They just kind of neglect the seed and they leave it in the darkness and they just forget about it because they don't see fruits. But as I mentioned, God is a God of process, so it's about sticking at what you're doing long enough. And if God is giving you that vision, He's going to make provision for it as well. It's just about you stewarding that seed, making sure that you are nurturing it, making sure that you're looking after it, so that God can trust you with more.
Yes, and this leads. I want to talk about why
Did I finish my story?
Yeah, I think so.
But how I declined. How did I say?
Actually, you didn't get to the very, very end.
Yeah.
When you wanted to say because they weren't always. You said that they weren't always.
Yeah.
You said that they're not. Yeah. Completely.
So I mentioned how they didn't see me as just a number, but then I said I had an opposing point.
Yeah.
So I got to the stage where I was sending the email off to them to say that I'm not going to start with them and I'm going to pursue business full time. And I sent a long email. I was thinking, because I thought they cared about me. I was like, you know what? They're probably going to be like, oh, Blessing, let's see what we can do. Let's try and negotiate something. You think they cared? The only thing they sent was, okay, see you, thank you.
Even I was a bit shocked by that.
They literally said, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Good
Bye.
luck.
Good luck, bye.
Nothing. I said, yeah, you never cared about me anyway.
They only
you
cared
never
about
cared.
You. They only cared about you when you were going to go for them.
Yeah.
But the moment that you went for them, they were against you.
In the bin.
Yeah, man.
So that's why I'm like, listen, there's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5. In fact, 9 to 5s are great. And that can be used to fund your business, used to fund your side hustle. However, you have to know where you stand. You have to know where you're going.
Yeah.
And in order to get to where you're going, will the 9 to 5 allow you to get there? Or will it hinder you from getting there?
Yeah, because I'm 100% not against 9 to 5, but I just think that 9 to 5 should be a stepping stone. It's supposed to be a stepping stone to where you want to get to. 9 to 5s or university, these things should be stepping stones. For me, for example, I use my student finance money to actually start my businesses. I use my student finance money. In 2020, I used some of my student finance money. So in 2020, I used my student finance money when I started university. I used that to invest into stocks, and I used that to buy some sneaker reselling. Then from that, I started making money from stocks and making money from sneaker reselling. From that, the next part, and by the way, while I was in uni, and then after that, I started talking about these things. People started messaging me and saying, oh, how can I learn about sneaker reselling? And how can I learn about stocks? And this is how I started my info business and education business too, because people started paying for me to I sold my £20 course, teach people how to do stocks. I made my first 1.5K. That was in December of 2020. When I made that amount of money, when I made that 1.5K from selling something online, digital, I realized my life is going to change. And I think one day we'll talk about why we believe in info. There's so many businesses out there, but why we've decided to go for, these, info. We're in the education agency space because the online, education agency space. But anyway, leading on to that, so I made my 1.5K in December of 2020, and then from there, I just started going all in. And all of 2021, I was just on it, talking about my stocks, crypto, deep skilling myself. And I'm going to be honest with you, I went all in. I completely sacrificed my uni degree completely. I only went to about 5 lectures. I can count on my hand how many lectures I went to.
Can I just say
not
something?
Smart.
We're not.
You've been talking,
No, but we're not. Okay, but what you're saying is I don't want people to think this is the blueprint.
No,
that's just your journey.
Yeah,
because some people might be like, oh my gosh, this guy only went to 5 lectures and me only goes to 5. Apply wisdom. This was his journey.
Okay.
By the way, I went to my lectures. I got a first class. Yeah. I went to all my lectures.
Yeah.
And I'm in this position as well.
Just to give backstory, the reason why, one of the big reasons why and God knows why, I love my God, because I'll be honest, that's not the degree I wanted to do. I intended to do medicine. I got an offer for medicine, but honestly, I can say now, looking back, God took that away because I was supposed to get the offer. I wanted to defer entry, but I couldn't resit my exams. Why? Because I was at a private school, and for some reason or another, I couldn't pay for the last few years of my last few months of my private school. But that I look back and say it was just God. Like, it just God orchestrated everything. So that's the reason why I wasn't really focused, because I wasn't doing the degree that I wanted to. And I'll be honest, I will give this as advice. I would say if you are really studying something that you don't want to study, I'd say this: seriously consider what you're studying.
Yeah.
If you're doing something that you don't want to study, you're wasting your time, your energy, and your life.
And don't do it because your parents are telling you to do it. I'm sorry, like I've made that mistake, and I don't regret what happened. Like for me, I did biomedical science, and I wasn't really ever really interested in it. Like, I just did it because the goal was medicine, and that wasn't my goal.
And that's why I just couldn't, like, because I was doing biomedical science
to
go to medicine. I chose neuroscience. I could have done it was the same thing, yeah. So I chose neuroscience to also go through the biomedical route. And by the way, I picked neuroscience because I didn't want to do biomedical science, because I thought this is boring. So I was like, it was boring. So I was like, let me do something a little bit more interesting.
Gosh.
And so I was like, let me do something a little bit more interesting. And that's why I picked it. But even then I was like, this is not what I want to do. And thank God. Anyway, so I just went all in. I went all in, and thank God I did. And you know what? I actually, just going back to that time, so in that December 2020, when I made 1.5K, I actually had a pivotal. That was actually by the way, up until that point, I was actually going to my lectures. I was actually doing it. But it was that. So September uni started. September, October, November, December. December, I had a pivotal movement to make. At that point, someone came to me and basically said this. They said, Faith, you are going to be huge. If you work with me, we're going to create something massive. They say, if you carry on going down this path, we said earlier, direction over speed. If you carry on going down this path, you are going to be massive. And I really had to sit and think about that one. I was like, I made 1.5K. Can I really? I don't. But basically, the decision is that I had exams all January. So I had two choices: either scrap the exams and focus all on this business, or do the exams. I really sat on it, and I remember I prayed about it, and I just made the decision. And I just said, I'm gonna go all in on that business, and just the rest is history.
Yeah, and just to go back off on that point, that you went all in, you had to make a decision of focusing on your January exams or focusing on this business that could actually fail.
Yeah.
So the thing
that embarrassing.
But thing is, though, this is why successful people are successful. It's
Yeah.
because they do what most people are scared to do.
Yeah.
The 1% are the 1% because they do what 99% of people won't do.
Yeah.
Are you going to follow the status quo, the standard, what everyone else does? If you do, you're just going to get what everyone else gets, the results everyone else gets. Yeah. But if you want to follow what the successful people do, you have to do what most people are scared to do. Because the 1% is the 1% for a reason. And in order to be part of the 1%, you most definitely have to be all into whatever you're doing. So focus is key. And I love one concept you actually were explaining to one of your clients, and I just happened to be there. And you said that, look, let's say you have multiple business ideas that you want to pursue. We would say do not pursue all of them at the same time. No, that is the wrong thing to do. However, focus on one thing. Go all into that one business. And then from that overflow of the business, so from the resources that you make, the knowledge that you also gain, the wisdom that you gain from that business, use that overflow to now start up the new business. Yeah. So it's like you're not exerting that much into your new business. It's like it becomes so easy. It's like you do it with so much ease. It's because it's from your overflow of the business that you established that you went all into.
Yeah. Another example to use is like when you impregnate, when you plant a seed. In fact, let's not use that. I was going to say when you impregnate, make more babies and use your babies to make more babies. But I was going to say, look at it more in terms of, you know what? God, listen to this one. Listen to the revelation. The Holy Spirit just dropped it it's up to me now. Genesis chapter 1. Genesis chapter 1 is a very important chapter because think about it. God had... This is his first chapter. God's like, I better make this one good. Because if this is the only thing you're going to read, God's like, you better read it. Check it. What did God say to Adam and Eve? He said, be fruitful, do multiply. So we spoke about being fruitful. Take the seed, plant it into the soil, water it, let it grow. But the next thing that you need to do is do multiply. Multiply what you have. And I think that's what people miss. People miss multiplying what they have. But to multiply what you have, you just got it. But to multiply what you have, you first need to focus on that fruit. Singular.
Wow.
Focus on that fruit. First focus on that fruit. First focus on that one thing. Make that thing fruitful. Don't switch it. But a lot of people, you want to multiply. I want to source of income now. I want to have a big business. Oh, people think it's a flex to have. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about that next time. We'll talk about that next time.
You think it's a flex to have multiple businesses?
Next video. That's
another one.
That's the next video. But just to kind of wrap up and just to give you guys like practical advice on what you should be doing is, look, what we're trying to just basically say here is go all in. Just sit down. Can we give you a task? Can we give you a task? Like, can you actually like sit down and like look long term, where do you want to be in the next 10 years? And I want you to look, what's going to get you there? Will it be your job or will it be that business? Just think that just actually write that down right now. Don't come off this video. Just write that down.
Pause this now. Pause it now.
And write down long-term wise where you want to be in the next 10 years. And is that job that you've got, is that catering job, is that retail job, is that actually going to get you there? If not, then what's the point? Because I would rather waste 10 years failing in my business year after year than put 10 years working a job that I never wanted to. Forget it.
No, you'd rather work 5 years failing at your business and then you now see results after 5 years.
Even if I don't, I'd rather have 5 years.
No, because if you're failing for 10 years, then how long are you going to fail for? I'm
just saying, what my point is that the fear that a lot of people have is this. This is what I'm trying to say. The fear that a lot of people have is, oh, but I'm going to fail. I'm not going to have any money. What if, for 5 years, I'm going to have nothing to account for? What my point I'm trying to make is that I would rather go 5 years losing money, failing, public humiliation, win a business, than do 5 years working a job that I don't even want to do. Because I know that from that business, after the 5 years, there's way more things I would have learned and it would have got me way closer to that goal than that job ever would. That's the point I'm trying to make. You know, I'd rather take that risk because I think the fear that a lot of people have is, oh, but I'm going to fail. 80% of businesses fail. I'd rather go that route. That's the point I'm trying to make.
When you serve a big God, you get big results. But you got to do the big things first.
Come on.
Okay, guys. So thank you so much for watching this video. And if you've made it to the end, you are serious. And I know you have the potential to go all in.
Yeah.
It's just that believing in the God that you serve and believing in the vision that you have.
Yeah. If you made it to the end of this video, that one thing that tells me is that you're actually going to, you're way closer than anybody around you to getting it. You can't see it right now, but believe me, it's happening underground.
100%. 100%. Right. See you next video, guys.
See you next video. Bye.